13 staff. Now that's something new. We have added a staff member since I was here last, I believe. One of the things we're doing to expand our scope of what we do is every ADAMH board in the state of Ohio, they process claims from their agencies. That's how we pay the bills for the provider agencies that we fund. And we have a software system that does that. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We're pretty good at that. We've been doing it for a long time. And a lot of boards will pay another board to do that work for them so that they don't have to hire staff or bring somebody in. So we have added, and we now have, I think, about 10 or 11 other ADAMH boards that we do that work for. We process their claims and work on their claims system. So we had to hire another staff to do that. So we're excited about this. It is another revenue stream into the board office, and it also enhances and increases our footprint in Ohio and in the behavioral health care system in Ohio. So that's why we've increased the staff. And as you all know, our mandate is to plan, fund, and evaluate behavioral health care services in Fairfield County. This is unique to Ohio. Ohio really values local rule. So we are a local entity. Our focus is only Fairfield County. Sorry, it's not moving. There we go. Oh. Yep. And many of you know we have 14 network of care agencies. Those are the agencies we fund. We're getting ready to add a 15th, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. There's a real good reason for that. We fund programs that they provide, and we have programs all the way from prenatal, pregnant moms, all the way through older adults. One of the things that we really focused on in the last 3 years is accountability. Of our budget, 2/3 of our budget comes from local taxpayer dollars. So we feel a huge investment and huge responsibility to be accountable for those funds. So we are really focused on that these 3 years, and Rand has been really instrumental in that. We have a contract monitoring process where we visit every single one of our providers. We have a pretty in-depth audit review we do of all their programs to be sure they're meeting all their contract responsibilities, they're doing things the way we expected, and we also receive outcomes from all those agencies to be sure the dollars we're putting into these programs, be sure we're getting out of it for our community what we expected. So that's been a real emphasis the last few years. We also have additional vendors. We pay for things like inpatient hospitalizations and recovery housing for people. So in addition to those 14, soon to be 15 network of care agencies, we have a few other agencies out there like private hospitals and recovery housing that we do pay for. So we end up with 15 agencies and over 50 programs that we fund. That's a lot for a board our size. Our staff also do services to the community. They provide over 60 training, awareness events, and other types of community events every year. We do a 40-hour CIT training every year for law enforcement. That's very important. And we also either participate or facilitate numerous coalitions in the community. So that's kind of our role: plan, fund, evaluate, also bring people together to the table to talk about behavioral health in our community. And as I said, our budget is based on money from our State Department. Some of it's federal grants, some of it's state grants, and our local levy. And 2/3 of our budget is that local levy. We feel it's very important. So we do try to very hard to be accountable to our community, get out in our community, talk about what we need. And it's one of the things many of you know we've been working on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I feel like I've talked Starlight until I'm blue in the face. But Starlight Center, we did have a wonderful ribbon cutting. We had our punch list with the construction company. And so very soon, we will be moving our providers in and getting that started. But that's been a wonderful project. It's a promise to our community. And we are finally realizing that and opening the doors. And as you can see, we're going to continue to build out our continuum of care. Crises is one of those core services that every resident of Fairfield County may need at some point. So we try to build out a very robust and strong crisis care continuum, and this is going to be one piece of it. We also fund a 24/7 mobile crisis team we're continuing to build on that for our community because we are the safety net for Fairfield County, and crisis is one of those biggest safety net programs. How Starlight looks now, beautiful building, really happy with it. Really pleased with how it turned out. It's a beautiful facility. And our promise for the community. One of the things that we're doing now with Starlight, as you can see the timeline, we're very, very close to opening the doors. One of the things we're doing is we now own the property. Thank you, County Sheriff's Department. We own the property the rest of the way on Locust Street. And so now we need to decide what to do with that. At least one of those buildings really is not in great shape. So one of our goals is to get out to the community, to the local neighborhood, talk to them about what we want to do with that property and get them involved in some of that decision making. We think the Starlight building is beautiful, and we want the rest of that property to be attractive and a benefit to the community as well. So we're going to be reaching out to the neighbors very soon, getting them together, talking about some ideas for the rest of that property there on Locust Street. And then the other project you all heard about is Venture Place. And we are getting started on that. As many of you know, we're building a 24-unit apartment building for people with behavioral health needs and are homeless or at risk of homelessness. We're also going to move our consumer-operated service onto the same property so they can provide services to those people. And that's going to free up their building on Main Street, which is right beside Fairhaven. And Lutheran Social Services will move their shelter beds to that building, giving them a lot more room for programming. People can stay during the day to do programming groups and skill building and that kind of thing. And that will free them up in their current shelter to increase their veterans apartments for their veterans program. So it's a lot of puzzle pieces, almost like dominoes, but in the end, it's really going to provide more housing and more important things for our community to assist with the homeless and housing issue. Those are the benefits to the project. One of the things we decided, I'm going to let Ray talk a little bit about this, was that if we're going to build this, we need to know, we're making assumptions right now, like people that are homeless, what do they need from the behavioral health care system and from housing? And so we decided we need to dig into that a little bit more and start now to find out what they need. And you've heard about our homeless outreach program, so I'm just going to let Brandon give you any updates on what's happened since you heard about it.
Okay, so I know that we had Tim come a couple months ago, and Tim and I did a presentation, so I won't belabor this, but just a couple of things. Tim continues to go out and meet with the unsheltered folks in our community. He's doing a great job. We had asked him to do a survey with the folks that he encounters in the community, and this is some of the data that we have collected. So this represents the unsheltered folks that are living in Fairfield County, mostly Lancaster. And you can see that, you know, we have quite a few. I think we have more than what we had expected. We have about half of those individuals reporting, self-reporting that they have a mental health or substance use challenge. So we are working together with our behavioral health agencies to see how we can integrate their services into the work that Tim is doing in the community. There's a lot of folks that Tim is encountering, and as you can imagine, it's really hard for him to do that work and then get those folks what they need. So for fiscal year 25, we have increased the allocation that we're funding the homeless outreach program to Lutheran Social Services so that they can hire a peer supporter to work with Tim and go out and meet with folks and to help get them linked to services or get the resources that they need. We think that peer support is an integral component to this program because, you know, a person who has, you know, experienced homelessness, they can use those experiences to, you know, help leverage and get those folks what they need. So just an overview of the funding for our housing and homeless outreach project. We're contributing about $3 million to that project. Of course, we have our generous contribution from you all, from the county commissioners of $3 million. We are working with OMOS and have about $2 million in capital grants. We have secured, this is an update since our last time we talked, we have secured the OPA funding and the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati funding. So we're approved for both of those. So moving right along with those projects. And this is just a rendering of the Venture Place site. So the bigger building towards the back, that is the apartment building. And then the front building, that's sort of more square. That's going to be the consumer operated services center and call building. Just a rendering of Venture Place. Center of Hope rendering. Some updates for that as far as our project timeline. Like I said, we have secured some of those other funding sources, and the project is out to bid right now, or the posting is out right now. So we'll be closing that.
It runs one more Sunday, and then I don't remember the date the bids are due, but we're moving on it. So we'll be getting construction company bids and be moving on that process.
Yep. And we've also, since the last update, we have worked with the Fairfield Metropolitan Housing Authority, and we are able to get those facility-based vouchers for the housing project. That way, you know, the folks that are living there are able to get subsidized rent, so it'll be affordable for them.
Yep, sure. So that gives you a quick update on our big projects that are continuing. One of the things we've done, and you'll hear a lot more about this, but I wanted to give you a preview. We did do a community assessment. We worked with the Ohio University Voinovich School, and they provided a community assessment for our community. It is done, and they're working on the final report. We don't have the final report yet, but we do have some data that we can share today. We had about 314 responses completed that weren't robo responses. And our consultants from Ohio University thought for this type of survey, the way we were collecting our data and the size of our community, they were very happy with that response. We felt like we had a very balanced between age brackets, response rate. As you can see, there was a pretty diverse group from different stakeholders that responded. So one of the things we found that popped right out at us before we had the final report was the people responding identified that services for youth was the greatest unmet need in Fairfield County. We sort of felt that already. We heard that anecdotally from people, but now we have this community survey where our community is clearly stating that youth is the biggest need. Interestingly, the second highest need they identified was older adults. We, about 2 years ago, felt like that was a population and a gap, but we were surprised at the community needs assessment that was identified as a gap. And then the third idea that really jumped out at us is the people that responded to our survey felt like the board and other organizations could better clarify what services are available in our county, which is interesting because we feel like that's what we do every day. But it's a complicated system. We know that. So we know that that's something we need to work on. So we have some plans. One of the things we're doing, one of the new network of care agencies we're adding, the reason we're adding them is to bring more capacity for kids into our system. So that's one of the reasons we're doing that, and that will bring some more capacity for, now they're already in our system, or they're already in our community working, but this will bring the capacity for people without insurance, which is what we pay for, into our system. We also spend quite a bit of money on prevention in our local schools. We're continuing that and looking at ways to make that more meaningful. The biggest challenge for serving kids is not having enough providers. There's a real lack of licensed social workers, licensed counselors, licensed marriage and family therapists. So we're working on increasing that in Fairfield County. I'm going to let Miranda share that with you in just a minute here. And for older adults, we already have a program for homebound seniors with Meals on Wheels that we fund. And we're going to look at other things we can do with Meals on Wheels, Senior Hub, to see if there's more we can do there for seniors. Again, the lack of licensed clinicians does make that a challenge, but we're going to be working on that. We're also working on, as I said, the facility, the remainder of the property on Locust Street, and that's going to be a future project. And then, of course, awareness. So you will see us out much more frequently in this next year, especially as we work up toward our hopeful levy on the ballot in November for renewal. And we're going to be really pushing and getting out and making sure the community does know what we're doing, because that is very, very important to what we do. And we'll probably promote a lot our Get Connected program. Mental Health of America here in Fairfield County has a full-time staff member. That's her whole job, is to receive calls, walk-ins, and help people get connected to the behavioral health services they need. And we're going to really promote that. We think it's a great service. And if people don't know what's available in the community, she can be a big help on that. So final point is what we're doing with workforce development, because a lot hinges on that. If we don't have licensed staff to provide the services, there's long waits, people don't get what they need. So I'm going to let Miranda fill us in on what we're doing with workforce development.
Okay, so I know you're all probably like, oh no, there are 6 links up there. We're not going to watch all 6 of those videos, but I would like to show 2. I do have a workforce committee that meets probably every other month at this point, and we're trying to work together to try to figure out, how we can overcome some of these workforce barriers that we have for folks going into social services and behavioral health careers in our community. So one of the projects that we had worked on is doing sort of these quick videos. The videos are going to show real life social service behavioral health workers that work in our community. And it just sort of highlights the different roles they have. And also, why do they like to do what they do in social services? Hopefully, the second video you'll find very interesting because it really does highlight why these folks love working in Fairfield County. One of the things that we see with our social service workers here is that they tend to move on to Columbus area for higher paying jobs. So there's a lot of great value, and well, I'll let the video speak for itself, but there's a lot of great reasons to work here in Fairfield County. So we're going to show that. So I think we're going to play video 2 and then video 6. We were able to do this project with one of the federal grants that we received. And I was able to incorporate these videos into some presentations that I had done for high school students at the Pickerington High School that were interested in social service careers. And then these also aired during some of the high school sports games. And we're looking for other ways to share these videos. So if anyone here has some great ideas, I would love to hear them. I'll play that 6th one. So we did have about 15 people that participated in these interviews. And we chose community connections collaboration as a timeline because that was a consistent theme across everybody that was interviewed. So I just want to say, you know, I feel like community connections collaboration is something that we do really well here in Fairfield County. So everybody that's here today in this room, thank you for that, because I truly believe that we're a collaborative system. We do a good job together.
That's it.
And Miranda, we'd be happy to share those on our social media as well.
Great. That'd be great.
So a couple questions, comments. And you do all that with 13 staff members.
Yes, we do. And it's a busy time. Our staff take on a lot of work, but another one of our goals when Miranda and I both joined the ADAMH Board was becoming organized and efficient, because we knew we were going to need to do that to get everything done and all the big projects that we had on our plates. So that's been a real goal of ours. We've tried to use different tools and software to help us become more organized and efficient. And I think it's worked. And I think they're busy, but staff are getting things done. So that's great.
And you know, the other item is you do a lot of paperwork, responsibility for 10 other ADAMH boards.
Yes.
That's also amazing.
Yes. Yes. And people are always surprised at the amount of tracking we need to do of our funding, because even though our OMAS funding is about 1/3 of our budget, all kinds of different pots of money come through OMAS, and the tracking of that, where we're spending it, where we can spend it, where we can't spend it, is a big job.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling when you have to, because not everybody plays by the same rules. You have to apply to whatever those rules are for
Right.
that agency, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's amazing. Commissioner Peck, any questions?
No questions. As I said at the event last week, I continue to be impressed with your leadership and great strides that the ADAMH Board has taken as you've been director. So keep up the good work, and we continue to want to be supportive any way we can.
Thank you. Thank you. We do appreciate it. We do feel that we have great support from the county.
Commissioner Davis?
I say thank you. Your leadership and your work of your team is a point of pride for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you both.
Thank you.
very good. So we'll go into we have a couple of interviews for board members. First person is Dr. Cenell. Boach, I believe you're online. Is that correct, Doctor?
I think they're given there for the ability to speak right now.
Okay, so we'll get you unmuted.
So now if you can hear us, please unmute and say hello.
And it would always make them look.
I can make her center. So now are you out there?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, great. Yes, I think it just took me a second to unmute on Teams. Greetings, everyone. Yes, I'm here and I'm happy to be one of the interviewees.
So now, are you able to do video for us?
Let's see here. Yes, can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Greetings. Can you see me? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Greetings. Yes, it's good to see everyone.
Again, thank you for your willingness to apply for this position for the ADAMH Board. And, but I'm going to start with Commissioner Fix, if you'd like to ask some questions.
Yeah, can you just start with, your background and why you're interested and, what you hope to accomplish as a member of the ADAMH Board?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. So my background academically is my bachelor's work is in athletic training or sports medicine, master's degree in exercise physiology, and I've worked on a few PhDs and finished my PhD in health sciences. And I say all that to say that I've spent about 25 years in the field of health and wellness promotion. And so my PhD work in health sciences really focuses on this arm of health and wellness promotion. And I've enjoyed working with the ADAMH Board as a trainer or presenter, and feel that it's just another arm of promoting health and well-being in our communities. So it fits very much in line with what I've already been doing for the last 25 years. So in my for-profit business at Wellness with Cenell, as well as I have a nonprofit myself where we promote health and wellness for individuals in our communities. So it's a really very much a natural fit, and I'm happy to be able to serve and even in a broader way than I've already done in the last 25 years. So.
Excellent. What do you think, you've participated at some level with the ADAMH Board already, so what do you see as the greatest opportunity for the ADAMH?
Yes, another great question. As what really stood out to me during the presentation was our services to the youth in our community. I know there's quite a bit being done. However, just also being an adjunct faculty for Ohio University Lancaster branch and being familiar with occurrence that happened a couple years ago with a student that had some mental health, the crisis that occurred a couple years ago, it just brings forth the need for making sure that if we can offer more services for our youth, it would be very beneficial. So I like to definitely assist with that as much as I could.
So obviously you're well qualified and passionate about this part of the business that we're in. I just want to say thank you for your willingness to serve, right? These volunteer positions throughout our county are incredibly important. And the fact that we're able to attract really talented, gifted, passionate people to these boards is a big deal to us. So not sure how this is going to go today, but really appreciate your willingness.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thanks so much. I appreciate it either way. Willing to serve.
Commissioner Davis.
Good morning. I just wondered if maybe you would be willing to take us through the process you went through to prepare for this interview. From the time you realized that you were seeking this opportunity to being with us this morning, can you just share with us what process you went through in preparation?
Well, the process really started with the application and reviewing the application questions and recalling those questions, and then kind of just reviewing that information, as well as knowing the services I've already been able to provide with ADAMH and the interactions that I've had with members of the ADAMH board. So those were the processes really in preparing for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
So, most of the questions I would have had have been addressed. I do have one, being a member of a board, there's a time commitment involved. And do you have that time available and willingness to commit that time?
Yes, that's something that I definitely want to talk with the direction a little bit more. I do have the email information about the time commitment, and as of now, yes. It just depends on if there's an increase in time commitment, then that would be something that I want to discuss with them at length.
What kind of questions do you have for us?
I guess what is one of the biggest challenges that you all see with regards to this particular organization?
So I think Marcy in your presentation touched on it, in that from my perspective, we have a tremendous amount of services available, and those service providers generally do really, really excellent job. But so much of our community is unaware that those services are available, or to what degree, or how to get to them. I would think for someone experiencing mental health challenges or drug addiction challenges, trying to work your way through our system is probably not the easiest thing to do. So that to me is where our greatest opportunity is.
Thank you.
Marcy, any questions?
I don't think so at this time. I've had several conversations with Cenell about the board and what we do. We worked with her on a couple trainings, which were great. So I think I've had mine answered before this meeting, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And, obviously there's two applicants and it's always difficult when you have two great applicants making those tough decisions. But, person who is not chosen, I would hope they would be willing to reapply for other positions, if not for the ADAMH Board, because there's many opportunities here in Fairfield County.
Yes, I will add, I'm sorry, one thing that I didn't know about Cenell that, and as we look at our open positions, we always consider is the area of the county that she lives in. We don't have any representation right now in that area, so that was one of our great interests from the Bremen area. And that is one area that we struggle to get our message to. So we were excited about somebody that geographically is from that area of the county.
Cenell does a nice job with their chamber down there. I've had a chance to met with them a couple times. It does a nice job.
Thanks so much. Appreciate that.
So thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Cenell.
You're welcome. Have a great day, all. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Our next applicant is Baylie Blevins. Baylie, if you could come down to the podium, that way other people online can actually hear what you have to say.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
We'll start as I did before, Commissioner Fitz.
Yeah, same questions, right? So tell us about your background and why you're interested.
Yeah, so currently I'm the Director of Health Promotion and Planning at the Fairfield County Health Department. My educational background is in emergency management and homeland security. I graduated from the University of Akron in 2020, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in public health from Kent State University. And that's pretty much my educational background, but currently I serve on the Young Professionals of Fairfield County through the Chamber of Commerce and the Chase Haley Project.
So what's your motivation to join the ADAMH Board?
Yeah, so I have, excuse me, a passion for mental health just through lived experience and my experience working in social services. You can really see kind of how mental health affects the whole system and leads into the substance use disorder problems. And so I've always just felt very passionately about it. And when I saw that there was an opportunity to get more involved, I was very interested in it.
Right. And what do you think is the biggest opportunity for the ADAMH Board?
So I think the ADAMH Board does a great job currently with addressing health equity. And I think just continuing as society and people evolve and Fairfield County changes, continuing to kind of head on the health equity path and address the DEIB concerns is really important. So,
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
Well, my question's no surprise. From the moment you heard of this opportunity, could you tell us what process you went through to prepare for today?
yeah. So the first thing I felt like I had to do as a county employee was ensure that there wasn't a conflict with my current role. So I went ahead and did that before I applied, and then kind of just reflected as I was filling out the application on like if I felt I would even benefit the ADAMH Board, and then did my little digging on the ADAMH Board website to make sure that like I felt like there was a piece where I could fit in to serve them the best way. So then I applied.
Thank you. It's an interesting comment. I had the opportunity to meet you a couple of times, but I've enjoyed that. Of course, I'm a huge fan of your husband.
Yes, most people are, so I'm sure he appreciates that.
You can tell them that, John?
Don't tell him. I'll never hear the end of it.
So my question, obviously you've answered a lot of questions, but I think the most important thing, there's a decision to join it beyond the qualifications, which obviously you're very qualified, is the time commitment and the willingness to actually devote the time that's needed. So is that time available?
Yeah, definitely. My current role, I'm able to be very flexible with my time, and I've already kind of looked at the requirements and time commitments of the ADAMH Board, and it aligns perfectly with my schedule, and I don't anticipate any changes in the future.
Thank you.
So I just want to say, again, as I said before, thank you for your willingness to serve. It's a really big deal. Volunteer positions are critically important to the health and well-being of the county. It's also great to see someone way younger than us step up and be willing to serve. You've got a great future here in Fairfield County. Just really appreciate you wanting to step up.
Thank you. I'm very thankful for the opportunity. So.
And if for some reason you're not chosen, there's all kinds of opportunities. So don't give up. Marcy, any questions?
I don't think so. I think those were great questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Baylie.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. So, Holly, we're into community development block grant.
Good morning, everyone. The PowerPoint comes up here. I will just briefly state this is the second public hearing for the community development block grant. I'm not seeing it on my end yet, but
We're getting there. There's-
all right. So this is the second public hearing for the community development block grant. The first one was held back in March. The first one is more of a general hearing to introduce the different programs that are available under the CDBG program. And this hearing is more specific to what we're proposing for our application that's due in June. There we go. So the CDBG program is a federally funded program through that housing of urban development at the federal level. We participate in what's called the Small Cities program because we are not an entitlement community. So the funding that we receive for CDBG funding is funneled through the state. And then the county receives it from the state, and then we are able to choose which community we want to provide funding for through the program. It's important to note that the city of Lancaster is an entitlement community, so they receive their own pot of money directly from HUD. So when we're looking at our applications, we are looking at everything outside of the city of Lancaster. There we go. Okay. So we are looking at two different programs today. We are looking at our allocation program, which is a 2-year cycle that we have. We receive $390,000 on average. That does happen to be how much we're receiving for this 2-year cycle, and it has been for the last few cycles. And so we'll be looking at what projects we want to fund with that allocation, those allocation funds. We are also looking at a neighborhood revitalization program, which is a competitive grant, and it's up to $750,000 that can be provided to multiple projects within the same community to have more of an impact on that community. This year, we are focusing on the Village of Bremen, and I see that they're here today, so I'm happy to see that they're here to support the projects that we're suggesting that we move forward with. So this is the process that we have gone through. We've obviously talked about the first public hearing. Then we sent out applications to all of the communities and to nonprofits within Fairfield County and asked them to provide applications to us. This funding is for the low to moderate income community. So the primary beneficiaries of the project have to be low to moderate income. So 51% or more. So we do ask that they provide us with the information of how they're going to benefit that population. And then once we receive the applications in, we hold a community development implementation strategy meeting. It's a requirement from the state, but it is a meeting where all of the communities who have applied for the funding come discuss their applications. We understand the different levels of need for the communities. There's a spreadsheet that we fill out with them. And then we identify the priority projects from there. And then that's when we determine the second public hearing and talk to the commissioners about what projects we want to fund. And that's what this public hearing is today. And then after that, we'll have a resolution for the commissioners to pass, which we have on the agenda for today. So we believe that the projects will be moving forward at this point in time. And then the applications are due on June 12th to the state. So regional planning will be entering that information into the online system. So the project that we are proposing this year for the allocation program is the Village of Rushville. They are looking at replacing their lagoon system and a flow meter that also serves that system. It is a need, a substantial need for that community. They are 51% low to moderate income. So we're very happy to be able to help them with this project because it's my understanding that there's a critical need as far as maybe some potential EPA violations if they don't start making some incremental changes. They have an overall larger project. But this is a standalone single component that we can at least fund with a smaller amount of money that we have through this program. And then we're also looking at the Village of Amanda and providing funding to them for ADA curb ramps. They do not, that's a community, they are not 51% LMI, but when you do the removal or the addition of removal of curbs and adding curb ramps, that is considered limited clientele serving the severely disabled, and that population is presumed to be low to moderate income. So we were able to qualify them in that way. So that's another project which we don't a lot of times fund, Amanda. So we're being able to reach those funds to an area that we haven't been in the past. Fairfield Beach, we are proposing a playground equipment. That is a community that we haven't served over the last couple cycles, but we have prior to that served the Fairfield Beach community. But looking at when we're going through the previous cycles of being able to kind of filter them back into this allocation program and serve them with some additional needs that they have in that area. And then our last project is in the Village of Bremen. And that is for the Howell Park walkway improvements. And there's a walking path around their park. And we are asking for this to be funded as a match to the neighborhood revitalization grant funds, which we'll talk about in just a second. Under normal circumstances, we are allowed to fund 3 projects plus administration. But when you apply for a competitive grant, you're allowed an additional project to use as matching funds. So that's why we have this additional project on our list. And then as far as the neighborhood revitalization program, this is again $750,000 that is being proposed for the community, including the Howell Park improvements, including some street and drainage improvements, including some water treatment improvement costs, and as well as some lighting for their pool. So this provides a breakdown of the different costs for each of the projects. It shows how the Howell Park is an allocation project and is matching funds for them. The other $45,000 of matching funds is a cash amount that the Bremen has certified that they can provide as leverage funds for this grant. The more leverage that we can provide, the better chances are of getting the grant. If this grant were to be awarded, over approximately $875,000 worth of projects would be completed, with $750,000 coming from the federal funds. So this is a really great opportunity for us. We have received these grants. And, yep.
That neighborhood revitalization grant, wasn't that normally $500,000?
In the past, it has been in 2022, I believe, they increased it to 750,000. So we were able to secure the 750. I shouldn't say we, but RPC before I came back was able to get the 750 for Pleasantville. So we're implementing those projects right now with the 2022 at 750. So the next steps are for us to take any feedback that we have from the commissioners or for the public. But as this is set up with the second public hearing, it's more of we come to you with what our strategy is through the April 30th meeting, and we're hoping that that all makes sense to the commissioners and that we can move forward with this and submit the grant application on June 12th.
But, so do we have anyone here from Rushville or Amanda or Freeman?
There you go. I thought Freeman walked in. I didn't do the other ones.
So, starting with Rushville, is Rushville here?
Yes.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, the lagoons in our sewer system, they are over 30 years old now. We're finding that things are not lasting like they used to, and we greatly need it's done at the lagoons. The flow meter is definitely a must for us to replace, and also some other equipment there that will be also replaced as well.
All right, thank you. Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've always struggled in the last few years to get the income surveys from our residents to get qualified for the low to moderate income, but we were in desperate need of getting some ADA ramps along the main drag through on Main Street, and we found out that we could qualify because of it being federally mandated ADA regulations. So we were happy that we were able to do that as well.
Thank you. And Bremen?
The walking path, put in early 2000. It wasn't put in greatest. Better paid, but there's a lot of residents who come down to our park, butterfly garden. They walk around to get some exercise and usefulness. As far as the other RG, we're going for water softener. We're doing water softeners. Sidewalks up Broad Street, if you ever come through Bremen, you'll see old sidewalks that you can real bad. Give Bremen a facelift on it. There's also going out in Marietta. If you've been through Marietta, there's water issues from natural springs that just tear the road up. And lighting at the pool. They took the lighting out years ago. Can't have parties and things like that, or even have lighting out there at night to keep riffraff from climbing over the fences. Security issues.
Very good, thank you. I don't believe there's anybody here from Fairfield Beach or Walnut Township.
It's not, no.
Okay, are there any one else who would like to speak as a proponent of these projects? About as an opponent? Anybody would just like to make a comment?
I think Holly's done a really wonderful job. He's had tons and tons of knowledge. It's been great working.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes, I echo that. Thank you, Holly.
We agree also. Thank you. Okay, this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Can I ask one favor is if the ones that were here for the hearing could sign the sign-in sheet and they came in later, I'm just gonna get a copy of your sign-in sheet instead of having my own separate one.
President, please.
Just a comment, I support the projects, but what moved me throughout this process was actually a note that the commissioners received from Mayor Henderson from the village of Pleasantville. And it's got historical precedent. We've seen this many times before in the past. But the note we received from the mayor was complimentary of all of your projects, recognizing why their project wasn't funded this time and expressing his support for your projects. And I just think that's such a classy thing. And we've seen that many times before over the years with CDBG, where entities that have applied who weren't funded kind of lean into the projects that were and express their appreciation for those projects. And just thought it was a classy move and worth mentioning. Thank you.
Well said, Commissioner. Right. This hearing is closed. So we have now a couple proclamations we'd like to present. Commissioner Fix.
So if we could have Judge Smith and her gang come on up. This is a proclamation recognizing May as Supervised Visitation Awareness Month. Whereas the children and their parents should have safe, quality time with one another, even when there are underlying issues. The support we give children and families during times of crisis creates trust and allows parental bonds to be formed, which is crucial to a child's well-being. Domestic violence, mental health issues, and substance abuse often prevent safe adult-child interaction. Strong families are the key to a promising future for everyone. The mission of the Fairfield County Visitation Center is to provide supervised visitation and monitored exchanges for adults and children who have been affected by underlying issues. Through provision of a safe, secure, comfortable environment, family engagement and meaningful adult-child relationships are promoted. And during National Supervised Visitation Awareness Month, we renew our commitments to children and families by providing a safe haven of support to break the cycle of violence and encourage healthy parent-child relationships. And information about Fairfield County Visitation Services can be found on the website. Therefore, the Fairfield County Board of Commissioners does hereby formally declare its respect and recognition of May Supervised Visitation Awareness Month. We urge all Fairfield County residents to recognize that safe parenting time is vital and that continuing to foster these relationships is extremely important in our community. Going all the way down. Thank you. You guys can hang on to that. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate all of you. Let's chat.
Let's pull it in here a little bit without Commissioner Davis to give.
Hey, did you want to say something?
Judge Smith, please.
I would just like to thank the commissioners for their support of the visitation center. It serves a vital role for those families that come through domestic relations court, specifically those families that deal with domestic violence, substance abuse, sometimes mental health concerns. It provides a safe place where children can maintain a relationship with a parent who might otherwise be unsafe for them to spend time with. I would say that, we are funded primarily through grant funds. We do have some participants through the county commissioners as well. Through the trainings that I've attended with Mandy and some of her staff, and also Susan Schmidt-Armata from the domestic violence shelter, we have learned that our visitation center is a model. Other centers across the country look at the policies and the procedures of our visitation center as how the center should operate. So I'm very proud to be associated with our visitation center, and I'm very thankful for the commissioner's support.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, thank you, Kate.
JFS crew up here, we've got a proclamation recognizing June 2024 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Whereas the National Council on Aging estimates that 10% of Americans 60 years and older suffer from some form of physical, mental, and/or financial abuse each year. And whereas the NCAO found that the annual loss by victims of elder financial abuse is estimated to be at least $36.5 billion a year. In collaboration, awareness, and education in Fairfield County will assure older adults in our communities will live with dignity and free from harm and death. And the Fairfield County Job and Family Services Adult Protective Services will continue to work with other advocates and professionals to increase awareness and help fight elder abuse. Now therefore, the Fairfield County Board of Commissioners does hereby formally declare June 2024 to be Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Fairfield County Board of Commissioners urge all Fairfield County residents to recognize that our elders deserve to live with dignity and safe and caring communities. Heather?
These ladies really do all the great stuff, so that's why I was not giving any picture environment for them, but, I don't know if you guys want to say anything.
We just want to thank the commissioners for the recognition and really kind of reach out and thank our APS team for all the work that they do. And we're really excited to kind of celebrate this month with World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. It's going to be held at a presentation on June 10th at the Life Church. So we're really
Nice. Thank you. Ladies.
Squish in there. We gotta get Steve up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, thank you.
The Commissioner Davis may need to leave. He has a commitment.
Do you want to skip to our voting time and then?
Can I do my solution update first?
Dave?
How much time does Steve have?
10 minutes.
9.
9 minutes. 9 minutes, 10 seconds.
Yeah, you go through it and we can talk at
And
it.
then we'll circle back to public.
Then we'll come
comment.
back to public comment.
Okay, perfect, great. All right, just let me give you the highlights of the resolutions here. But first, I'll give you one update. We did receive notification from Dr. Louis McNeil of Ohio University that they have appointed, they've announced the appointment of Dr. Martha Klein as their interim dean. They're at OUL. They are still continuing their search, but he wanted to make us aware of her appointment to that. And there's also information in your review packet. 27 resolutions on the agenda for the regular voting meeting, and it does, the administrative approvals are in the review packet. There are a few resolutions of note for me to point out, so that's why I wanted to get to that before your voting meeting. We do have the proclamations on, which you just provided. We also have a reappointment of Matt Weidman to the Fairfield County District Library Board of Trustees. The resolution that we spoke to regarding the declaration of necessity for the ADAMH levy, which would be a renewal for 0.75 mils. That would be for the general election, November 5th. Anything else you want to add on that, Marcy?
I think so, only if there's any questions I can answer.
And appreciate Amy's work with both the ADAMH board and us on getting that moved forward. There will be another resolution that follows that. Also have a resolution to approve an agreement between the commissioners and the Fairfield County Transportation Improvement District for the Basel Western Road project, as well as a financial agreement accompanying that. Jason, anything on that one? And Commissioner Fix and Levacy, you both were at the TID meeting last week where the TID passed that intergovernmental agreement. We also have a resolution approving a lease agreement with Lancaster Fairfield Community Action for a little bit of space at the Tusing Road Government Services Center. The health department for their WIC program is still operating out of there, but when we relocated Job and Family Services and Juvenile Court to the Fairfield Center, that did free up a little bit of space, and Community Action was very appreciative of being able to occupy that. And that will begin June 1st, and they'll probably start moving in shortly after that, correct, John? Correct. Great. We also have a resolution approving the 2025 Title 20 Social Services Block Grant with JFS. Anything on that, Josh?
Annual requirement by the state. This is our flexible pots of funding that we can use in our Office of Public Assistance as well as in our CPS department to offset any expenses associated with the use.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we have the two resolutions, one speaking to the CDBG block grant program, and then also the neighborhood revitalization program. So those are on. And then we have two resolutions with the sheriff's office, one to enter into a grant agreement with ODNR for their Marine Patrol Assistance Program, and then a resolution to approve a one-year extension with the sheriff's office and Team Health / Premier Physician Services for medical services at the jail. Art, let's go ahead and skip our budget update to keep us moving and save that for next week. And Rochelle, if you can do an abbreviated version of the calendar review and correspondence received, that'd be great.
They are all on the agenda, and if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to the office.
That's very abbreviated, thank you. And that's all I have, Commissioner.
Please rise if you're able and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Yeah, where's the flag? That's the flag. There's a cookie basket. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rochelle, any announcements?
There are no announcements.
So approval of minutes for May 21st, 2024, and also for the special meeting minutes of the same date.
So moved on both.
Second.
Discussion. Being none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Both minutes passed 3-0. From the Commissioners, Resolution 2024-5.28.a, a resolution authorizing the approval of proclamations.
The Commissioners, I move items A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County ADAMH Board, Resolution 2024-5.28.e, a resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for a renewal of an existing mental health services for the November 5th, 2024 general election on behalf of the Fairfield County ADAMH Board.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Court of Common Pleas, Resolution 2024-5.28.f. A resolution approving an account-to-account transfer into a major expenditure object category Fund 2852 Target Community Alt Prison.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, Resolution 2024-5.28.g. A resolution authorizing account-to-account transfer for EMA Fund 2890 Subfund 8324 Hazardous Materials Emergency Planning and 2091 Local Emergency Planning Committee Funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2024-5.28.h. A resolution to approve an agreement between Fairfield County and Michael Baker International Incorporated for the PLE 32 Bridge Replacement Project.
Fairfield County Engineer, I move items H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and O.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Facilities, Resolution 2024-5.28.p. A resolution authorizing the approval of agreement allowing Proline Electric to become the completion contractor for the Fairfield Center for the renovation project.
Fairfield County Facilities, I move items P and Q.
Second.
Discussion.
Just allow the fine and finish the title build out of Fairfield.
Additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Family and Children First Council, Resolution 2024-5.28.r. A resolution approving a contract between the Fairfield County Family and Children First Council and the Fairfield County ADAMH for program services for state fiscal year 2025.
The Fairfield County Family and Children First Council, I move items R, S, and T.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2024-5.28.u. A resolution approving the 2025 Title 20 Social Services Block Grant County Profile Report.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Juvenile Probate Court, Resolution 2024-5.28.b. Resolution authorizing the approval of the fiscal year 25 juvenile court funding application update with the Ohio Department of Youth Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Being none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, Resolution 2024-5.28.w. Resolution to approve the fiscal year 2024 Community Development Block Grant Neighborhood Revitalization Program.
The Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, I move items W and X.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Sheriff, Resolution 2024-5.28.y. A resolution to enter into a grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources.
The Fairfield County Sheriff, I move items Y and Z.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Payment of bills, Resolution 2024-5.28.a.a. Resolution authorizing the approval of payment of invoices for Department of the Board of Commissioners approval.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled for June 4th at 9 a.m.
So we'll return to our regular order of business, and that would be public comment. Those who wish to make public comment, please approach the podium and give your name and address, and please limit yourself to 3 minutes. Who would like to be first? Unheard of.
No, I,
Too late.
I just want to thank you guys for.
Anything on legal?
Just briefly, Commissioner, I know the board just passed the resolution of necessity for the ADAMH levy. Now that the resolution's been passed, county administration will need to forward that resolution to the auditor's office so they can prepare the certificate of estimated tax revenue. And once that's done, staff is great about sharing that with our office. I can prepare the resolution to proceed, which will be on probably the next week or so. Probably not next week, but the week after, I would say for sure. Yeah, I figured. So you'll get it soon. That's all I had though.
Blew through that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Okay. Any old business, Commissioner Fix?
Not today.
No public comment, no old business,
I guess, just mentioned at the start of the meeting, Memorial Day, and I think it's always good to take a moment and reflect on the folks who are serving today, who've served in the past, and especially those who've made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. I know that there are a number of Fairfield County residents over the last 200 years who have made that sacrifice, and I think it's always important to just take a moment and recognize what we've been given by those people. So thanks.
So, and since Commissioner Fix mentioned that, I will also, I served and I loved it. I never served in theater, but I had a lot of good friends during the Vietnam era that didn't make it. And my wife's uncle, he fought at Guadalcanal in World War II, and he was 19 years old and killed in action. And her father was in Battle of Bulge and actually got a hand grenade from a German. Lost his leg, 200 shrapnel wounds, spent 2 years in the hospital. And so that those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, that's so important. We remember what they did for each and every one of us. And that's part of the reason we're able to be here today, right? And do what we do. So we're very, very thankful for that. Commissioner Fix, any new business?
Thank you.
We'll do the same. Update from elected officials. You're not either. How about for the engineer's office?
Yeah, on
I see you got a couple bridges there to replace.
got some bridges, one on Old Millersport Road, just north of King Path, and then the adjacent sister bridge on Old Mill, right next to it. Resolutions.
And bridges are always a challenge because you have to disrupt traffic in a big way. So, yeah, you guys do a great job. Dr. Brown.
Last week, we met with some members of Richland County's budget team, and they wanted to hear about how our process worked. More specifically, how the enterprise resource planning system helps, how that technology helps. Gave them Bart and Stacy some contact information as well. They may reach out. They're at the very beginning of their process and trying to use our processes as a model as they move forward. We are in the midst of research and analysis for the 2025 reappraisal. It's good to understand about our market. It continues to be turbulent. We continue to have a seller's market. Sales in April of this year are 6% over sales of last April, and the average price is well over $300,000, which is, significantly different than it was at the last two triennials as you look back that period of time, but not significantly different from the last update that we did. So I don't.
Are you seeing significant reduction in prices, or are you able to tell? You're not.
Yeah. There's no significant reduction at all in any of the prices. It is holding very steady at more than 300 in the average. But it is not increasing the way that it was in the past 3 years. So that's something to recognize as we continue on with that particular analysis. Public utility taxpayers, AEP Ohio is now handling the top 3. Columbia Gas has the top position there. I mentioned that because there's a large percentage of property taxes that are paid by public utilities, and that's a new engagement with AEP Ohio, and Columbia Gas has been in the top for quite some time. We're providing testimony to legislators, have written testimony relating to homestead, improving the homestead program, owner occupancy, improving owner occupancy so that people who have been in their homes can stay in their homes. And so I will, over time, provide some bullet statements and summaries to all of you so you can help be our communicators too with legislators, because those are the two main things that we receive calls about in Fairfield County more than anything else. There are other strategies that other states have put in place that could be helpful, but those two in particular have a great deal of attention. The annual financial report is on track, as is the process for the new lot splits for electronic processes for that. So looking forward to having those in place by the end of the year.
Tony, anything you'd like to? How are we doing out there at the workforce center? Everything going very smoothly?
So we had our third graduation for pre-apprenticeship program on May 17th. We honored 81 graduates, and we had upwards of 300 guests in the building that day. So it was very successful. We got a lot of really positive feedback. I had an opportunity to talk to parents, and they were very happy with what their students were doing in the workforce center and the fact that they graduated. I believe 78 of those students are employed now.
That's amazing. That's an amazing number right there, right? And that's what makes those parents so happy, right?
On the work, right? They'll make their own money. So they were very excited about that. Our electrical students have to wait. So they'll be starting work actually this week. All of the electrical partners decided they would wait for the students to start after they finish the program. So they'll start this week at multiple companies, including Claypool, Accurate Electric. So we're excited about that and to see them get started. We have, because we had so much success, we've already started the process of planning for next year and meeting with the different school districts to talk about what we can do better for next year. And we are looking forward to having at least 100 graduates next year. and an even bigger graduation. So if you haven't had an opportunity to see our graduations, please come out. If you haven't had an opportunity to see our students working, please come out and see that happen next year in the fall. We have summer camps coming up. They start June the 3rd. We have an opportunity to introduce 270 middle school age students to camps in healthcare, carpentry, and manufacturing. That said, as of May 25th, we have not even reached half of that goal. So if you have students that are middle school age students, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, please let them know about our camps. Everything is on our website for the Workforce Center. Please do not miss this opportunity. We're looking forward to that. If we don't have campers, we don't have camp, right? So I have more than enough staff to cover and to support, but we need those campers and programs. That said, we also have this summer an adult phlebotomy class taking place. So OU has received a grant and they've already spoken to their instructor, and she is going to offer phlebotomy this summer for adults. So we are looking forward to that. We will not have a CPT program because of transition with staff, but we will have a program for adults to earn their certified phlebotomist technician certification.
So have you volunteered to be a, guinea pig for the phlebotomy
I
class?
have not. I have very small veins.
I knew that.
I usually have to get the blood from like my hand.
So
Not fun.
in my paramedic training, we used to stick one another, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I bet. So I never volunteer for that.
I know Rick really enjoys that, volunteering for that phlebotomy.
It's a little strange, but
Just refer to them as a human pincoach.
each his own, right?
Right.
Thank you for all the great work you're doing out there.
And you're getting ready to build out the engineering lab for OU. So I guess
It's already started.
this week. So that'll be finished in a couple of weeks.
Sure.
So that's very exciting. So very exciting. John,
Happy about that as it progresses, and thanks to Tony, he's provided a lot of assistance here in the past week as we kind of adapted to some changes that needed to occur with that building and its age, taking care of some really nasty water issues. But we also really excited to, as mentioned in the resolutions, to wrap up the title project officially. Unfortunately, we had a contractor that couldn't complete that work and couldn't pay their subs. So now with this takeover agreement, we're able to finally close that chapter and have those subs pay their final payments, which it's just a shame that they've had to wait this.
That should never happen. Dan?
Nothing from IT today.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. Anything else to come before the Board of Commissioners at this time? Looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
John?
I think that was something. You were a little fancy.
Lisa. So the last time, it only went by 300 days. So it's not a shoe in. They spent a lot of because they could use a home stack, which I think is terrible. Well, hey, Marcy. Yeah, and I'm sure Commissioner Fix as well. We want to be helpful in getting the levy across because it's not. Last time was 300 cents. I know. So there's a lot. I think everybody knows. A lot of people don't know the difference. They don't know. They look at tax and tax and let these people take care of it. So we want to be helpful. Endorsements, anything, you name it. We're in. Okay, all right. Keep up the good work. Thank you. What else is going on? Sure. Busy boy. So things, I think now will settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
Had to put a lot of time. I can't believe Sherry didn't come. She was in Knox County the other day. Sherry.
Oh.
I didn't realize they actually come to the community when they have this public hearing. Dude, that's all public. They said, so you're going to,